Yo, what's going on, everyone, and welcome in to a brand new edition of Snaps. Unfortunately, the last February Snaps for this year, as it is already February 28th, the only month that's a perfect numerically satisfying 4 weeks of 7 days is nearly at an end. And guess what, Aaron? After today, I feel validated in saying that we are going to march into the future. Welcome into Snaps. We got a lot to talk about today, okay? This is a daily college football podcast. We are live at the Volume Sports YouTube channel, youtube.com/The Volume. If you're listening in the future and you ever want to watch live, you come hang out there, you come chat with us, you come hit the like button and please the algorithmic gods that rule our existence. Also, wherever you listen to podcasts, you want to help the show, rate it, review it. All right, on the docket today, we got some Georgia talk for all you dogs, as big news as a noted name is going to be returning to Athens. We have USC, luck, or you get it. We're going to look at the SC defense, right? As we all knew just how, look, we all knew USC was lucky with turnovers last year. I don't know if we quite realized the extent of it, or maybe how dire things actually are over there in Los Angeles. We will rely on our own QB1, Aaron Murray, to give his opinions on Anthony Richardson's season, as Combine Week is here, and one of the big four is not going to throw or work out at the Combine. We got a little trouble in Gainesville, as Billy Napier's squad has a key departure late from the coaching staff, and a bit of LSU hiring news, which a little digging has made a bit more interesting than I thought it was maybe initially, and it has led to a coach entering our radar, our sphere, that may give Marcus Freeman a run for being the best looking coach in college football. So we hope you hang out with us here for this next hour. If you are in the chat, you can go to get your comments there. As always, we will read them throughout the show. I'm one of your hosts, T-Bob Hebert, joined as always by Aaron Murray. Aaron, what's up, man?
Man, just so excited to do the show with you once again. Happy Tuesday, happy end of February, and we're ready for March.
Yeah, I agree. I'm excited.
There we go.
I'm trying to think. Anything else? FanDuel, right? Sign up for FanDuel, promo code SNAPS. Great deals going on constantly. If you want to bet the NBA, I have stopped betting the NBA because I just keep betting the Pelicans, and they suck now. It's awful. You know who doesn't suck, Aaron Murray? The Georgia Bulldogs. And even though I tried my best to get Glenn Schumann out of there, I talked about him maybe going to Alabama. I talked about all this stuff, and he even did multiple interviews with the Philadelphia Eagles, or as you say, Philadelphia Eagles, following the departure of their own defensive coordinator. But alas, it was not meant to be. Glenn Schumann, the young Wunderkind, officially returning to Georgia. And it begs the question, Aaron, as we start to move into the new college football season, right? Spring football right around the corner. We saw Kirby after national championship. 1, 2, 3. That man threw up a third finger for a national championship. Let's have a little discussion about what the biggest key is to UGA maybe repeating for a third time in a row, keeping this dynasty rolling. And is that key Glenn Schumann?
It helps tremendously. You're talking about a defense that gave up 10 points per game 2 years ago. Last year gave up 14 points per game, number one defense in the SEC. So you have all that. You have the coaching staff. It's Kirby's baby. Obviously, Kirby was a hell of a defense coordinator when he was at Alabama. Really gave him the opportunity to take that leap to the head coaching spot there at the University of Georgia. So you have one of the best defensive minds in all of the game in Kirby Smart, who's a head guy who, obviously, we've talked about the responsibilities of head coaches, has a lot on his plate, but still he's going to focus on the defensive side of the football because he's had Monken who can deal with the offense. I guarantee he completely trusts Bobo. Bobo is going to have complete control of that side of the football. He's going to focus on, hey, how can I help Muschamp? How can I help Schumann? And that's where he's going to be. So you got that guy. You got Muschamp, who also is one of the top defensive minds in all of college football. And then you got Schumann, one of the best defensive minds as well, a little bit younger on that side. So to keep all three of those guys there together, working in unison, to game plan each and every week, to understand like, hey, I'll take this, you take that, and we're going to put together this master game plan for each and every Saturday. I love it. If he would have left, I don't think there would have been this just huge drop-off. I think it would have sucked if he went to Alabama, if he went to a competitor, because he's that good. But if he would have went to the NFL and we didn't have to worry about facing him and his defense this season, Georgia, as I say that, I would have been perfectly fine, and I would have trusted completely that Kirby and Muschamp would go out there and put together a defense that would still probably be the number one defense in the SEC next season. They're that talented. They've recruited that well, and you still have two of the best defensive minds in college football. So retaining him's great. They would have lost him. They would have been just fine. I think the biggest get is the fact that they knew Monken was leaving. They knew it. They knew Monken was going to head on his way out at some point. They brought in Bobo a year ago, and they were able to now pick him, put him perfectly into that OC position without any hiccup when it comes to the schematics of that offense or the terminology or anything like that. So that machine and that train can keep going down the track. So to me, bigger get Bobo a year ago to set up the plan for him to take over OC than Schumann returning this season.
I don't know that anyone in the year of our Lord 2023 would agree that you can describe Mike Bobo as the biggest get. I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna say that there weren't many people banging down Mike Bobo's door to come be an offensive coordinator with them, especially not given the fact that him and Kirby Smart are literal frat brothers or literal teammates. Like, were they actually in a fraternity when they were at Georgia? Do you know?
Yeah, Bobo was not.
Okay,
I think Kirby may have been in a fraternity.
Either way, my point is obvious. Okay, he's not a big get.
I'm saying the master plan. No, I'm not saying the plan that was in place. You always talk about chess because you're a chess guy. You're always playing one or two moves ahead. Kirby was playing one or two moves ahead here. He was setting up for this moment.
Okay. So in chess, questionable moves that are objectively bad. And remember, in chess is a fascinating game because of like chess engines and everything and AI and computers. We can see moves. Like there's actual point values to moves based on what will play out after those moves, right? So there are objectively good and bad moves. An objectively bad move a lot of times is called a blunder. Just because you make a move does not make it good. So I agree. Kirby made a move, but it very much remains to be seen if Mike Bobo is a blunder or an exclamation mark. Okay.
So my question to you, T-Bob, I'm gonna throw it back at you.
Yeah.
Would the defense? I'm gonna throw it. Get ready to catch this bitch. Would the defense have taken a significant drop back? Sorry for those listening. I just threw T-Bob a beautiful spiral. Right breast cheek. Not cheek. What? I guess just right breastplate. Yeah. Caught it in stride. He was gone. Here we go. T, if he would have left and gone to the Eagles with Muschamp and Kirby obviously there, would the defense have taken that big of a step back?
No, because the defense has the best players in the country, right? So, and like you said, it's Kirby's side of the ball. So where I'm saying exactly is, I agree with you. The Glenn Schumann news is actually, it's nice, but it's not like backbreaking. Yeah. Like the main thing, as you said, the main thing the Glenn Schumann news did was avoid the hypothetical of him going to competitor. Like it's almost like retaining him means less than not letting an opponent get him. So if you go to the NFL, no harm, no foul. If we're talking about the obvious keys to Georgia repeating once again, it is Mike Bobo. But that's the thing. I don't know if that's good or bad. And I hate to be reductive here, Aaron, but it's like very obvious what the biggest key is. And it's whoever's going to be the new quarterback. Is it Carson Beck? Like, who is it? Whatever. And Mike Bobo. And can they recreate the success of Stetson and Monken? Because regardless of what you think about Stetson, I know all you Bulldog fans hate him nowadays, and I completely understand why. We are now firmly off of Stetson getting a statue. Actually, I don't know if are you willing to take that stance publicly yet, Aaron? Are you on or off Stetson having a statue outside?
Great way to find out by asking him. So we have this opinion. Are you willing to share it publicly?
Yeah, no. That is my opinion that Stetson has poisoned the statue. Well, I'm saying be a man, and as Les Miles say,
he did poison it. No, he poisoned it. Say it with your chest. God, now you got me stuck in that voice. He poisoned it a little bit. I do think that the momentum that could have been created. I mean, Stetson, he could have literally, this is your fault because I have not talked about Stetson for 2 weeks. This is your fault for bringing this topic up right now. So I don't want to hear any bitch in a moment about, Aaron always talks about Stetson. T-Bob brought this topic up. This was not on the rundown. So this is T-Bob's
fault. It's not
fault.
on the rundown. That is true.
He could have, during the parade, got in front of him and said, damn, you know what, guys? That mailman statue out front of the Sanford Stadium is going to look pretty damn good. And everyone would have lost their mind. And everyone would be like, hell yeah, let's build a statue for Stetson. Oh, my God, he's the GOAT. Like, that would have been awesome. And that would have just put a rocket on the back of it. And everyone would have been banging on Josh Brooks's door. Give him a statue, give him a statue, give him a statue. So, yes, the momentum was killed. And it has not been talked about at all living in the state of Georgia. Not once have I heard since the parade. Before the parade, we heard a lot about it. Leading up to the national championship, we heard a lot about it. Since the parade, the only thing that you've heard is the sour taste of what happened. Do you agree with Stetson? Do you not agree with Stetson?
Are people still mad?
No talk about it. No, I don't think people are mad. I think it just people. That's the last thing they think about.
It's
bad. Stetson, they think of what happened at the parade. They're not talking about the statue. So it lost all of its steam. I don't think it's going to happen.
It's like it's not like you ate something that is so disgusting that you're a child and you're like spitting it out on the ground or like a napkin or something. Yeah. But you ate something where at first you're like, okay, it tasted pretty damn good, but then afterwards you get kind of this aftertaste, like it's got a weird mouthfeel. You're like, I don't really know how I feel about it. I don't actively dislike it, but it's kind of better out of sight, out of mind for right now. And then you had the arrest and everything, which isn't backbreaking or anything. And I'm not sitting in a moral or ethical place of judgment, right? I don't care about Stetson drinking too much and getting confused about which house he was going to, but it does lean into the bad aftertaste. But here's my question. Here's my question though, because as I said, replacing Monken and Stetson, right, with Bobo, and we'll just say Beck. Is that fair to say? Like, do you think Beck's going to win the job?
Carson. Okay, it's Carson's job to lose.
So replacing it with those two, I mean, it is a major question if they can recreate that success. And we had Cody Brunet in the chat who says, Georgia doesn't play anybody. They're going to be good. You are right. And as far as the schedule works out, there is not a more friendly schedule in the entire country to figure out your new quarterback and your new OC. But that's also a schedule that's not really going to prepare you for playoff time. Like, you're not going to play anybody good. You're not going to play anybody that's actually going to stress you. How do we figure out where we are deficient, Aaron? Why when you develop a product or you build something, what do? You do literal stress testing on it. You want to see how's it going to hold up? Like, how's my phone going to hold up if I dunk it in water? What if I throw it against the wall? Georgia's building an iPhone, only the extent of their testing is throwing it on a pillow and being like, oh, look, it's collision proof. It's good to go. Yeah. So, you may beat the fuck out of, Bethune. Damn it, too early. You may beat the hell out of, Bethune-Cookman.
No, you're good. 16 minutes.
Oh, we're good. Okay, cool. So, you may beat the hell out of Bethune-Cookman or something, but that's not going to prepare you for the SC championship or the playoffs. And make no mistake, that's the expectation for Georgia. It's not even just to make the playoffs. It's to win it and then win the Natty. And so if you really look at the value of Monken and Stetson, as good as they were on a week-to-week basis, there is no doubt that their ultimate value came in shining in the biggest moments against the best teams. That's incredibly hard to recreate. It's Stetson's biggest feather in his entire career at Georgia. And I don't know, I don't care what the stats are in the regular season. I don't know that it's as easy as, Mike Bobo and Hudson Card will be able to do the exact same thing that Stetson and Monken did last year, or for the last 2 years.
Where did you get Hudson Card? Where did you get Hudson Card from?
Oh, I combined Hudson Mason and Carson Beck. Yeah. So I did a little Hudson.
And Hudson Card was Texas quarterback.
No, I know, but I keep doing it. I did it in my head pre-show. I wrote down Hudson Card multiple times by accident. I don't know why. It's a weird Hudson Mason, Beck, Card. You get it. You understand what
where does the card come from?
Just from the Hudson part. So I was thinking Georgia quarterbacks, Carson, Beck, Carson, Card, Hudson. It's all, you know, I don't know, dude. This is my brain, okay?
I agree. But and I know this is super cliche to say.
The point stands.
Right,
That's the biggest hurdle to repeating. Can those guys not be good during the regular season? Can they be good when it matters most?
And I know this is super coach speaky to say, but it is true because I've witnessed this. I've been there. I've seen it. The way they get after it in practice and the way that defense and how good that defense will be this year, they're going to face the best defense in the country every single day during spring ball, during summer, during fall camp, every day of practice and during the fall season. They're going to get tested. I get it. Like, it is different because there's no repercussions. If you throw an interception, you throw a pick six, there's no 6 points going on the board. If you don't drive the ball down the field and put the ball in the end zone, doesn't matter because you're usually just doing 4 or 5 play sessions where the ball, no matter what, you throw a 40-yard pass, it gets brought right back to the line of scrimmage where you had the initial play. It's hard to recreate a game atmosphere, but there's also the ability to stress you out, though, based on the defense that you're going to face. And we've been talking about it for the past 15 minutes, how good this defense is going to be next year. You have 3 of the best defensive minds in the game. You have some of the most talented defensive players in the country. You're probably going to have a top 2-3 defense in the country that you are going to see that is going to test you every single day of practice, that's going to make you better. You ask those kids, you ask them for the past 2 years, what is harder? Your schedule, the SEC championship, the playoffs, the national championship. They will tell you what we do Monday through Friday and the way we practice and the way we get after it, the way we compete is harder than those games. So that is as good.
We
as
might need a
get.
cliche counter for Aaron.
I know. I mean, dude, the amount of cliches in the Monday through Friday portion of that answer were just unbelievable.
But not every coach does it, though. Not every coach, because there's a lack of depth. There is maybe a lack of schedule competitiveness. Have to do what Kirby does. He is given the opportunity to practice the way that he practices because of the fact he knows he is a very deep team, too deep that can all start. He does know that he has a pretty weak schedule, and this is his opportunity to kind of push those guys to the limit because 80% of the games this year, the starters are going to be on the bench halfway through the game. So they're going to get plenty of rest on Saturday. I can push them a little bit harder Monday through Friday.
That's true. Also, look, Slowpoke Gonzalez says, don't let him shake you, Aaron. Stick to the script. Yes, right. I know I was having a laugh at Aaron's expense there with cliches, but I'm a firm believer in cliches, right? Like, you only become a cliche if enough people found real wisdom in whatever thought it is that is now cliche, right? So, like, yeah, the Monday through Friday, like I guess when I've been a part of teams, in any realm, but in sports, certainly, you have success when you can get people to really buy into that kind of cheesy cliche stuff, right? When they buy into, okay, we're going to work our ass off in practice because we're going to make each other better and games will be easy. And I went through a bit of that. Now, I was never part of a great offense like you saw the last 2 years out of Georgia, but like, without a doubt, when I was at LSU, I mean, practicing against like Michael Brockers and Patrick Peterson and Tyrann Mathieu and like all these incredible players every day. Yes, a lot of times Saturday was easier, but when you ran up against a really good team, you could still be a bit exposed. So we'll see. We'll see, man. The problem with this argument is we really won't see until playoff time. like until the SEC championship, pretty much, you're not going to be challenged. So that would be my biggest obstacle. Avo Marzwanian asks a good question. Would Stetson be too cool to attend his own statue reveal? I would love nothing more.
Depends on how much media is there.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, somebody's going to ask him a question about the statue. He's like, really? Here? Now? I can't believe
No one believed I would ever get a statue. And no one believed the statue would be as cool as it looks.
We're kind of feeding into that a little bit as we say Stetson does not deserve a statue. Okay, so we are in agreement, though. The biggest hurdle, like the biggest key, I guess you could say, to UJX any of their dynasty is Bobo and Beck. Yes or no?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes,
okay,
yes,
for
yes,
sure.
Yes, yes, yes.
100%. 100%.
Yes.
It's very obvious.
Even though, because at some point, because it's happened the past 2 runs. At some point, you're going to have a day defensively where it doesn't work, and the offense has to be special. Alabama Natty first year, and then obviously Ohio State this year. Defense wasn't getting the job done. Offense had to step up and win the football game. So, like, you may go, and I think we both anticipate, they may go 12 games of the season, and average points per game is probably going to be around 10. So all you need is 2 touchdowns to win. That's doable. But you're going to face an LSU in the SEC championship, most likely, with Jaden and those receivers and that running game and that offensive line. You're going to face a really good offense that's going to be able to score. Can you match that when the crunch time comes? Can you match if you face Ohio State again? If USC gets their stuff together on defense, they're going to score points on the offense side of the football. You're going to have a game where you're going to have to score in the mid-40s to maybe even low 50s to win. So, yes, the key to winning it is going to be, can Bobo and Carson step up in crunch time?
All right. So, speaking of USC, that is topic number 2 on today's show. Actually, real quick, Charles Clark says, who are the top teams that could give UGA a run for their money this upcoming season? Just real quick off the top of the head, it's easy to go chalky here. Ohio State, certainly, and Alabama, right? And LSU as
LSU.
Well. LSU
Alabama is not going to be good this year. Well, they'll be good. They're not going to be elite.
Okay, so you're calling 2
Are you scared of
regular season
Tennessee
losses?
at all?
No.
A little bit. I am. Yeah.
Let me answer for my client. No, we are not scared of Tennessee. There is no reason to be scared of Tennessee. They had their best team this last year. They will not be as good next year, and they didn't even get close to sniffing Georgia. So, no, nobody's scared.
Yeah. Kirby's got that offense down. Back-to-back seasons of holding that team under 20 points. They have the secret sauce to slow down what Heupel wants to do. I'm not sold on Bama, though. I'm telling you, like they do not have a quarterback that I feel good about. And if you don't have a quarterback, because I love the position, you're in trouble. I trust Jaden. I trust LSU. I think Alabama's a 10-2 team.
I trust Jaden as well. I just think that, I don't care if I don't even know. I don't care what question marks they have, right? Alabama has earned the right of, I will just expect them to rebuild and probably be the favorite to win the West. Although we can form all kind of
brand new OC, DC.
I know.
Quarterbacks, new defense. They're going to lose 4 guys in the first round of the NFL draft. They're going to lose 2 guys in the top 5 of the NFL draft. Yep. And they were a really good team, not elite team last year. How do you get better from that? That doesn't make any sense. But that doesn't make sense. To get 2 new coordinators who aren't significantly better coordinators than what you already had. So it's not like you're getting an upgrade at the coordinator position. You're getting a major downgrade at the quarterback spot, at the running back spot, at the defensive end spot, at the corner spot. And everyone else is getting better. I just don't see the correlation of why you are so scared of that Alabama A that you think they're going to be an undefeated team next year. Like, it ain't going to happen.
I want to say that the last time Kirby Smart replaced both coordinators in a single year, last time Nick Saban did that was after 2007, and he replaced him with Jim McElwain and Kirby Smart, and they went on to win the Natty that year. So all I'm saying is Alabama's got a bit of
different person.
It is different. I'm not saying it's 1-1.
We know the coordinator, especially I'm just saying, like,
here's what I would say. Alabama's got a bit of the feel. It's like the old horror movie trope, right? That the bad guy's never really dead. Like, you think you got him, you stabbed him. Oh my God, I'm finally going to survive. And then he shoots up one more time, and it's like the Empire Strikes Back. He gets that final kill in. I think whatever. I'm just not doubting Nick Saban is all I'm saying. Like, I don't think it's, I get what you're saying. I don't think it's crazy to say when we say, what are the biggest hurdles to Georgia, to name Ohio State, Alabama, and LSU.
I think
Penn State.
I think if you, maybe Penn State, if USC,
okay. Well,
let's defense a little bit.
Well, so that is such a massive if, and let's get into it right now.
Oh yeah,
I've titled this USC lucky or fucky, because when you look at last season, they were both lucky and fucky. as they had, and we knew about it during the year, right? But doing a little year-end review kind of shows just how extreme it was. They had extreme turnover luck last season. They were otherwise not just bad, but awful defensively, astoundingly so. I mean, look, as bad as these stats are, 29 points a game, that's 93rd in the country, 423 yards per game, 106 in the country. But Aaron, here's the number that is going to blow your mind. USC allowed 6.5 yards per play. 6.5 yards per play. That's 124th in the entire country. Do you know how hard it is to give up 6.5 yards a play? I feel like you can sleepwalk and trip and fall into better numbers than that. And then you say, but T-Bob, so they force a lot of turnovers, right? But I mean, so like at a certain point, we got to give the coaches have credit for that, right? Maybe they knew they had a bad defense and they played an aggressive style and it led to the force a lot of turnovers. And certainly some of that is true. But when you look at data, when you aggregate the data and you look at it on a macro scale, you can start to establish some baseline numbers of how often things should be working out in your favor, right? And it's interesting. When it comes to fumbles, over time, that's a 50-50 split. It's like a coin flip. Like over time, it will always basically come out to about 50% if you zoom out far enough. Last year, USC recovered 78% of their opponent's fumbles, 18 of the 23. They recovered the first 9 in the first game alone, so already you're seeing some insane luck on the fumble front. Now, what about interceptions? The normal rate on passes defensed that result in being intercepted is about 21%. Out of 37 breakups last year, USC had 19 picks. So you are talking about well over what should be expected from everything else that we have as far as data points go. And I think maybe most notably, Aaron, and most damning for the Trojans is this last little piece right here, where we all saw what happened to USC in the Pac-12 championship, right? We saw what happened against Tulane. They got their ass kicked in the Pac-12 championship, and they had the worst collapse, probably a top 10 bad collapse of all time against Tulane in that Cotton Bowl. Well, what happened in those games? Their fumble luck actually held. They recovered 5 of the 7 fumbles, which is a bit absurd. What did not hold, 8 passes defensed, 0 interceptions. And what happened to those 2 games? They allowed a combined 93 points, 1,072 yards, and a mind-boggling 8.9 yards per play. Against Utah and Tulane, they basically gave up a first down every single play. That is so bad that I don't like. They could improve by 200% and still be below average defensively. I mean, it just feels like way too much to fix to expect USC to be a contender next season.
But they were a contender this year. Like, let's be honest. Like, they were really contenders.
I don't think they were. That's what I'm saying. I think
they were a game away from
being lucky.
They were a game away from being in the playoffs this year. So yes, you can't say they were not at the end of the season contenders. And they were winning that Pac-12 championship game. They were up, and then they crapped the bed, but they were up. They were one win away, probably,
and then got blown out in the second half.
Yeah, I mean,
were they not absolutely
not
in the last week of the season? Were they not contenders to get into the playoffs?
That's fair. You were right.
So you're telling me that a team that was a half a game away from being one of the top 4 teams in America to have an opportunity to play in the playoffs, bringing back a Heisman quarterback, can't get a little bit better on defense and win that second half to be able to make it to the playoffs? Is that what you're telling me?
What I'm saying is a little bit will not be good enough. They're going to have to get a lot better if they actually, maybe not to make the playoffs. Like, I feel you there, right? Maybe not to make the playoffs because I don't know about making the playoffs. I mean, I know, but now I'm thinking about like Washington and trying to shut down Michael Penix and everything next year, DeBoer and company. I think I think it's too much to overcome in the end. I think it's going to hold them back. And I think for the second year in a row, you'll be talking about, and probably for the upteenth year in a row, you'll be talking about an incredible Lincoln Riley offense with a reigning Heisman champion who gets screwed over by Alex Grinch and that defense. As Thomas Dare says in the chat, USC, you got pegged. By the way, Thomas Dare actually in the same office, little WeWork place as I am. So shout out Thomas. He's a couple offices down. So the entire time he was just hearing me yell, you got pegged, out of this little room that I'm in.
It's an interesting schedule. It's an interesting schedule. You have to go on the road against Notre Dame. You get Utah at home. You get Washington at home. Then you have to go on the road versus Oregon, which is going to be a doozy. Like the Pac-12 is going to be really good. I think we can kind of agree on that. Like you look at the Pac-12 this upcoming season, USC is going to be a contender. Oregon's going to be a contender. Utah's going to be a contender. Washington's going to be a contender. They have 4 really good football teams. Really good football teams. I would say.
So all you're doing is convincing me that USC they don't stand a chance.
But I'll say this: we've had back-to-back seasons now. And I don't know if this is going to play a factor or not. We've had back-to-back seasons in which a conference has put in 2 teams from the same conference into the playoffs. I still view the Pac-12, what they have next year, better than the ACC. They'll be comparable to the Big 12 when it comes to talent. And I think they may actually have a better top of the funnel than the Big 12 does. If you do have a team that is a one-loss conference championship, so if USC does stumble along the way but finds a way to win the conference championship, or an Oregon or a Washington, I think that you still get in with a one-loss team. So there isn't a sense of like a Pac-12 team has to go undefeated. I would put in a one-loss Pac-12 team over a one-loss Big 12 team. I put them over a one-loss ACC team. I think they earned respect this past year. I think what they're going to bring next year with talent, they're going to earn some respect. So they don't need to be undefeated to get in. So you can't have one essentially bad weekend and still make the playoffs.
So what happens when every weekend's a bad weekend because you're giving up 7 yards of play and you don't force turnovers at an outlier rate anymore? Like even some of those games, like they didn't get lucky to win, but they were in some battles, right? It wasn't like they just cruised and then they got upset a couple of times. Like, no, they too won their fair share of close shaves. So yeah, no. And I didn't say undefeated, right? No, I think this is a bad enough defense to result in multiple losses. So yeah,
what happened to the petite Trojan boy? Like you fucking turned on them so fast over here.
What are you gonna do? I mean, you turned
that horse.
You turned first.
I did turn first.
True or false? Okay, exactly. No, so
I got off that pony.
You know what happened to the petite Trojan boy? 8.9 yards per play in the Pac-12 championship and in the Cotton Bowl against
a group of 5
Tulane. And I do not mean that disrespectfully to Tulane, although I guess
there's
no way.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. I was about to say, no. Everybody relax. No.
Tulane.
No. I did not mean it disrespectfully.
Tulane. More like Tulane.
Your home.
No.
Damn.
No.
That's some LSU snottiness over there in the state of Louisiana.
I'm sorry, bro. We were looking for Tulane, not Tulane. Okay, keep up. We do poop jokes here on Snaps, but no. Look, I'm just saying, like, Tajay Spears is a dog, and I hope the Saints draft Tajay Spears. That's Tulane's running back. He was a beast. I don't think that Tulane's offense was overwhelming last year. They were good. They were good, very good, even, but not to the extent at which they should have been able to do what they did against SC. So we'll see. But no, like what is Alex Grinch's track record? What does it show us in the past that should make us hopeful for the future? The same way we're always ripping on Venables about what has been, like, we have nothing to pull from to look to hope for the future. Well, you really have nothing to pull from for Grinch. Like any improvement that he made was kind of met with like almost 1 step forward, 2 steps back. So we'll see. And look, I reserve the right to change my mind closer to the season or the beginning of the year. Like if we turn on that USC film and it no longer looks like they have a Friday night 7-man football, small high school defense out there, then yeah. Like if all of a sudden they got like Cedric Ellis and guys like that, like, just these big guys like they used to have back in the day, sure, then I'll get back on that bandwagon. But if that personnel comes out and I see that dude Mike Jones at 6'5" and 200 pounds there, middle linebacker, I can't get there. I can't get there. Like yeah, exactly, bro. That is the. I don't even know if his name's Mike Jones. To be fair, so I don't know why I put a name on it. We'll see. I don't buy it. All right. Other topics for today. Anything else on USC, Aaron? So you believe that the offense is good enough where Grinch and them can get it done?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
If I had to pick a team today that I feel the best to make, if the Pac-12 was going to put a team in the playoffs, USC's it. I just think Caleb is that talented and that much of a Patrick Mahomes generational type quarterback that can do stuff like what he did, Caleb Williams, what he did from year 1 to year 2, because I wasn't sold. I'm not gonna lie. Watching him at Oklahoma when he took over for Rattler, end of the season, he was a little bit reckless at times. He was a little bit all over the place, a little bit too backyard-esque football. And I was like, okay, I can see it a little bit, but I don't know if I believe it if he can be an elite quarterback. And then the jump he made, which you always see a big jump from year 1 to year 2, the jump he made from year 1 to year 2, obviously great talent there at USC around him, but he had great talent at Oklahoma, taking care of the football, playing a little bit within, more within the scheme. There's still that backyard football to him a little bit, taking care of the football. He's a Heisman Trophy winner, for goodness sakes. If he can make even a fraction of a jump forward in year 3, because he's still a young kid, he's still improving, he's still getting mentally and physically better every single day. If he can take half that improvement into year 3, he will be untouchable. This offense will be untouchable. 3rd year under that system with that coach, you're talking about an offense that could easily be the best offense in the country. So, yes, he is that good, and that offense is that good to mask a lot of the issues on that football team. He's the best quarterback in America. There's no one close to as good as him besides maybe Drake at UNC.
I agree. I guess the only thing is, like, they were all of that last year. And I feel you. Like, they can be that and then more so this year potentially. Yeah. Maybe that ends up making up for, 9 yards of play. We'll see. What does the film tell you about Michael Penix, though, bro? Can I interest you in any Penix? I do like Michael. And a little Penix pump? What do you think?
I love a good Penix pump. I like all those quarterbacks. I like all of them. I like Penix. I like our boy at Oregon, Bo. I think Bo was tremendous last year. Cam Rising obviously plays well in big time moments. I'd take all of them. I take Cam Rising still there. He's banged up. I don't know how much he's going to miss the season. I would take any of those dudes in a heartbeat. Caleb is different.
Okay, we
know it. Yeah. You know it. Everyone knows it. He's different.
So that's a little QB talk from QB1, and we're going to keep the QB train rolling as. Look, guys, I don't want to get anybody too excited, okay? But SportsCenter special, 4 p.m., Mel Kiper 2.0 mock draft is about to drop, dude. Get fucking hyped. And it's Combine Week in the NFL. And I thought this was a bit interesting because you have 4 quarterbacks, as we discussed yesterday. Right now, you got 4 major quarterbacks that are competing basically to be the number 1 overall pick in the NFL. They will all be heading to the Combine. Only one will not be throwing the ball, and it's the guy who has the most physical questions, right? As CJ Stroud, Will Levis, and Anthony Richardson all announced that they are going to throw at the Combine. I'm not sure in the Stroud and Levis front, but Anthony Richardson's going to be doing all of the testing because, of course, he is, right? This is his time to shine. Like, this is where he starts to separate and potentially rise. But Bryce Young, Alabama great, who's already going to have to sit there and get measured and be 5'10" and weigh in at about 200 pounds or whatever. Bryce Young has said he's not going to throw at the Combine. He's going to wait till his pro day. Aaron, what do you think, dude?
I'm not surprised. You know why?
Why?
Because he's going to put on unnecessary weight that he will not look the same throwing the football, moving in and outside the pocket, running at 40, doing a 5'10", 5. That's what a lot of these guys do. Like, if you're underweight for your position, you put on a shitload of weight, you go to the Combine. That way you check off, hey, I measured in at 5'11", 205 pounds. You lose that weight. You get back to where you feel comfortable moving around, throwing a football, running at 40, doing a 5'10", 5, doing a vertical, doing a broad. and then you don't weigh in at your pro day, and then you do all those events at your pro day. Boom, there you go. That way you check every box off. I threw at my pro day. I ran at my pro day. I didn't weigh in. But now all of a sudden when people go to draft me, it says I'm 5'11", 205 pounds. And we all know Bryce Young ain't playing at 205 pounds. He is not.
Really? He's not even playing at 200?
No, he's not playing at 200. He's playing like at 190 at best.
Ugh. Yeah. But what if I told you I had a prospect that was like 6'6", 240 and ran like a 4.5 and could throw the ball 90 yards? What would that do for you?
Too bad he's 6'4", 240 and not 6'6". Those 2 inches.
Yeah. Oh, no. Let's be honest. We all know that Anthony Richardson's actually 6'6", right? Am I crazy? No, like none of us are going to accept that he's 6'4". Brum, can I get you back up here? Do you really believe that Anthony Richardson is 6'4"?
Yes, at least 6'5".
It doesn't make any sense. He's huge, dude. He's huge. He's probably like 6'7", if we're being completely honest. Now, Aaron.
No. I'm looking at ESPN right now, 6'4", 232. He's not going to undersell himself on the media guy. They're not going to undersell him. They would get that.
That was freshman year.
He did a Michael Jordan, just sprouted in college when you're essentially done growing as a male.
No. That shit happens way more often than you think. People continuing to grow after college. Yes, it does, dude. 100%. 100% during college. He's young. He's not even like 22 years old yet. Trey Murphy, one of the Pelicans players, grew like over an inch over the offseason. Too bad they won't freaking play him. Speaking of Bryce Young, now you've got me thinking, Aaron, and Brum, I don't know if it's too much to come up with a picture on the fly, but Aaron, did you ever see a couple of years ago when James Harden was trying to force his way out of Houston and he just showed up like super fat and then somehow lost the weight in like 5 days? Like, what if Bryce Young shows up and he's just got this like big gut, he's a little pudgy in the face, and he weighs in at like 215, dude, just wants to show him he can carry the weight.
And then just sheds it in like 3 weeks, goes on a
did we ever get
and just crushes it.
Did we ever get like did I miss an athletic article or like a deep dive into how James Harden did that? It's still one of the, did he have a bodysuit on? Like, it's still one of the great mysteries.
Oh, it was pretty sloppy.
It was sloppy, but then he looked pretty svelte. Like the day after
he didn't lose all that weight in like 3 weeks. So like there was he had the nagging hamstring injury, and you can really change your the look of your body composition.
Okay, that's true.
In 3 weeks.
That's true. Shout out Bryce
Especially
Young.
when you have millions of dollars and can pay for the best trainers, the best food,
correct,
dietitians. Yeah, you can change pretty fast.
Billy Napier, more like Billy See ya later. Trouble in Gainesville as Billy Napier's offseason struggles continue. Not only has Florida just been an absolute laughing stock this offseason with the Jaden Rashada drama and all the NIL stuff and, agreeing to pay a college kid $13 million. But it kind of almost maybe fortuitously for Florida, I feel like that kind of led us to forgetting how sneaky awful the Gators were last year. I mean, you're talking about a Florida Gators team that fired Dan Mullen, who was consistently in the running for the East, pushing playoffs at times.
Won the East the year before.
Yeah, winning the East the year before, right? Went from completely different quarterbacks in who do you have before Kyle Trask? So like Felipe Franks, and he's having success. Then he goes to Kyle Trask, and all of a sudden
Jones,
he's a passer, and he's great, right? Like, so you go from that to then year one of Billy Napier, you lose to Kentucky, you lose to Tennessee, you lose to Vanderbilt, and then you put together what was by far the worst performance in the entirety of bowl season, losing to Oregon State 30-3. It gives you your third loss in a row. It pushes you to 6-7. You lose your top NFL quarterback prospect. Florida State's out here getting better. Miami's smashing them in recruiting. And now, after all of this, and then all the NIL drama, their Wunderkind defensive coordinator, who admittedly was not very good last year, but this 32-year-old Patrick Toney is leaving to join the Arizona Cardinals staff. Not leaving to be Arizona Cardinals DC, but leaving just to join the staff. And this was a Napier guy. They were together 4 years at UL. He was supposed to be, as I said, one of the kind of savants, one of the fast risers. And now he said after 1 year of Gainesville and Napier and the drama, he said, I'm out. I'm heading to the league. How concerned should Florida fans be?
Well, I think they should be concerned with everything going on. I don't think this is like an eye-opening moment, like where this is the end-all be-all. Like you lose coaches to the NFL. I'm not terrified of that. Like that to me, that's a good thing. If an NFL wants to take your coach, whatever it is, whether it is going from a defensive coordinator to a position coach, whatever, that's the pinnacle of this game. The NFL is the best of the best of the best. Like we all strive to play with the big boys, to be there in the NFL. So if you lost these coaches to, say, another competitor, to maybe an even smaller school, then I would be concerned if they took a pay cut to go somewhere else. Then I'm like, okay, something's going on behind the scenes at Florida where everyone's kind of jumping ship. But these guys going to the NFL, good for them. That's the big boy league. Good for them. Go take that job. I've told you a million times on this show, if I'm a coach and I have an opportunity to go to the NFL, I'm going to the NFL right now. If there's not a drastic change in pay, I'm getting the hell out of college. I'm going to the NFL. These guys are dealing with way too much BS besides just coaching football where they don't want to deal with it. So I get that.
That's fair.
It's everything else that's going on. It's the NIL drama. It's not even be able to fill the team last year. It's the doing good, not great in recruiting. And then you look at the just depth of the league. Like you said it. Like there's so many other problems right now with Florida. This is I would say the least of their problems.
Also, I would say at 32 years old, he is kind of perfectly positioned where he could potentially get in the NFL for life, right? Or something close to it. Like if you can break into the fraternity at 32, it's kind of like now Joe Brady, I think, had higher heights in college, but like Joe Brady will never come back to college unless he wants to go back to college. He will likely have a quarterback job, a wide receiver job, maybe even an OC again. Like he could spend the rest of his life in the big league.
DC is pretty damn good too. Their new DC is pretty good.
Arizona?
Austin.
Are you talking about the head coach? You talking about Gannon?
No, I'm talking about Florida's new DC, Austin.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Is very talented. I actually had one of his games last year and talked to him for a long, long time. I mean, was pegged. God damn it, we keep using this word too much. He was pegged to be the next linebacker coach at Alabama. Was going to be, to me, on that fast track to be to be that next DC at Alabama, possibly. So they scooped him early, brought him over to Florida. But I think he's one of those young, up and coming, really, really good coaches. But the problem is with that, how long is he going to get? Like, do you want a young upcoming guy, or do you need some more like, we got a badass that year one we're going to see this drastic change in our defensive performance, because they need it. They do.
I mean, yeah.
Billy Napier, if they don't get to 7 wins next year, will be out of a job.
So as much as we just shit on USC, Florida's defense was just as bad. They gave up 29 points a game, same as SC. They gave up 5.9 yards per play, same as SC. Actually a little bit under, but basically the same. And they allowed 50% third down conversions, which was 129. So they were awful under Tony. And I feel you, Austin Armstrong, it's funny. He spent about a month in Tuscaloosa. He was a Southern Miss defensive coordinator the last couple of years, and I didn't realize how good. I mean, Aaron, you obviously called their games, but that Southern Miss defense was beast. They were third in the country in tackles for loss, fifth in sacks, seventh in picks, and he took an awful red zone defense and made them a top 40 red zone defense 2 years he was there. So I feel you. Like, as much as I'm going out of my way to hate on Napier, it's actually probably everything else that we mentioned that's really reflecting poorly on Florida, not this. Tony wanted to go to the league, and Austin Armstrong is a fine replacement. As we will see. Other SEC coordinator news, a bit of a weird situation at LSU as it's announced they're hiring John Jancic as their outside linebacker coach. Here's all I'll say about this. I'm
Jancic,
gonna know.
You want to talk about being on the carousel and not getting off of it?
Yeah.
Jancic was our linebacker coach.
Oh, wow.
Colorado. He's been at, golly, I swear to God, he's been at like 50 spots in the past 10 years. I think he was at Tennessee at one point. He was at Colorado State at one point. Now he's there. I mean, he is just, when you're on the ride and you know enough people, you will always have a job unless you just really F up.
Especially it's
a good old boys club. It's a good old boys club.
Well, especially in the analyst age, right? Like there's always jobs. Yeah. So to your point, here's Jancic's last 10 years. Cincinnati, Tennessee, South Florida, Kentucky, Colorado State, Georgia, LSU. Now he's going to be outside linebackers coach, and I think he's going to get the title of special teams coach. But
I thought he was special teams coach.
So that's the thing, though. In over 20 years, he's never coached special teams. And from talking to some reporters, LSU may do a bit of coach by committee, like the analysts maybe kind of be in charge of special teams, and then on game day, Jancic's going to take care over it. I'll know more tomorrow, but that's where Bob Diaco comes in. Now, I wasn't fully aware of who Bob Diaco was. This is a cat who was at Nebraska as their defensive coordinator. He was the UConn head coach. He did pretty awful at both jobs, but he's just been hired as an LSU analyst. Apparently, Diaco interviewed for special teams, didn't get it, but may have actually kind of got it. None of that matters. This was all just a reason to bring up Bob Diaco because we may have finally a coach that is giving Marcus Freeman a run for his money as best looking coach in all of college football. Brum, if you could bring up the video evidence here and let chat see what they think about Bob Diaco. Okay, and that's a young Diaco right there. I'm not even going to say that's his strongest pick, Brum. Keep funneling through them here. I don't like him in a traditional suit.
All these pictures will be on. Yeah, there we go. Look at this. Very strong. Jonathan be on T-Bob's wall tonight.
Do you know who Jonathan Groff is? Aaron, do you ever watch Mindhunter on Netflix?
Oh, yeah.
Very good show. Yeah. This is who he reminds me of, okay? He looks like and he's also actually the voice of Kristoff in Frozen. And I believe he played King George. I think he was King George in Hamilton on Broadway as well. And he's also LSU's new special teams coach, reportedly. I mean, look at this coaching fit right here. It's business casual on the sideline. Somebody said he stepped straight out of the LSU Death Valley suites and onto the sideline. My man's looking good.
When was he head coach at UConn?
I have no idea. But it did not go well. And he has Brum, you didn't happen to see the video that I linked in the side piece, did you? It's Diaco giving off some incredible Les Miles energy. Okay, it doesn't matter. Here's all I'll say. I'll let him stick his Diaco in me. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God.
And we're done.
That was like 10 minutes of setup just to get that joke out.
I know it was. That's why we're done.
Oh man. Love y'all.
Hide your children. I
hope you all have a great day. Thank you for
You know what that reminds me of? It's the Everything Everywhere movie. When all of a sudden one of the things they have to do is jump on that thing, the two guys, you're just like, wow, that took a massive turn really fast.
Okay, but how
everything all at once, it pegs your heart.
It does. It does peg your heart with giant sausage fingers and dildos.
Yeah.
What did you think? Give me a grade. Give me a grade on Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I give it an A. I have to watch it again. I was telling T before the show, my wife and I are so exhausted by like 8:30. And that's when we decided to watch the movie like idiots. So like it took us 3 nights to actually finish it because we kept falling asleep. We loved it.
Of a great movie.
We were just dead ass tired. So don't take us falling asleep on it. Just take us like we're just two parents dealing with a 13-week-old and a 2.5-year-old who are dead ass tired by 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. So like we need to find a night where we're not tired and kind of rewatch it. But for the 3-night marathon, it was a really, really good movie.
So that is something that I cried too. It's so good, dude. But like that's what I loved about that movie. I cried out of sadness, I cried out of happiness, and I cried from laughter. Like I think it got me in all 3 ways. And Aaron, you raised a great point. Just because especially as you get older, just because you fall asleep at something does not make it bad. Okay.
Nope.
I have fallen asleep. I reached an age at a certain point where I just fall asleep in movies now, especially if I lean my seat too far back. Like if I go back like past 45 degrees, I'm fucking done. And it has nothing to do with the quality of the movie. It just is what it is, man. We're old.
You need them Z's. We are old. Yeah. Tired. And have kids.
Well, Aaron, you have a great day. You have a good radio show. Huge thank you to our wonderful team here at Snaps. Paul Farrington, Pat Gunner, Ryan Brumley, Danny Carnez, Adam Gracia. We thank you so much. We love you so much. Paulie Walnuts has been handing us out some college basketball winners as of late. Maybe we'll start to bring those on air as well.
Yeah.
You can sign up for FanDuel. Use the promo code SNAPS if you want to get engaged there. Hit the like button if you're watching on youtube.com/thevolume. And wherever you listen to pods, man, if you like it and you want a great way to help us out, if you rate it and review it, Spotify, Apple, whatever, that helps spread it out among the people. So please review it, share it with your college football friends, help spread the good words of Snaps. We love you, and we'll see you tomorrow for brand new Snaps.